I started doing it on a whim. My brother has an unhealthy obsession with online vloggers. I can barely go a day without him linking me to a video of someone taking part in some sort of challenge or performing some social experiment. So, when the whole deep web mystery box trend started, I was one of the first to know. My brother must have sent me dozens of videos of annoying preteens opening up boxes filled with junk that they tried to pass off as creepy and sinister. When my brother asked me for my opinion, I told him that it combined all the boredom of an unboxing video with all the stupidity of a Tide Pod challenge. I added that most of them were probably making the boxes themselves. Even I could do it. And that's when the wheels started turning. A quick search confirmed that this was a growing trend, with hundreds of people claiming to have opened up boxes containing everything from drugs to murder weapons to mysterious flash drives. Some vloggers even claimed that they had spent thousands of dollars on a single mystery box. Those were obviously fake. But what about the rest? Were they really people out there who would spend at least $100 for the chance to go viral? I bet that they would, and unfortunately, I was right. Putting the boxes together was easier than expected. I had some cardboard boxes stuffed in my closet that turned out to be the perfect size for the job. Some rusty screwdrivers proved perfect as my murder weapons. My desk drawer offered up a surprising number of old flash drives that I made mystery box ready by filling them with as many creepy videos as I could download. Finally, some expired sinus tablets provided me with some mysterious deep web drugs once I had peeled the labels off. Getting the website set up on the deep web was a little bit harder, but you can find an online tutorial for anything these days. By the time I was ready to go to bed, I was the proud owner of the Emporium of Mysteries. For $50 worth of Bitcoin, anyone could be the proud owner of a mystery box. Sure, the site looked like it had come straight out of the early 90s, but it was good enough at the time. I was in business. The next morning, I went looking for customers. Fortunately, my brother's messages had made me very familiar with the online vlogging community. I messaged a few of the smaller channels with some burner accounts I made and left a few comments on their latest videos. You should do a deep web unboxing. You know what would be really cool? Unboxing something from the deep web. I bet you'd get millions of views. I heard about this new place on the deep web called the Emporium of Mysteries. They sell mystery boxes there. You should check them out. Then, all I had to do was sit back and wait. By the end of the day, I had 6 purchases. Not much all put together, but enough to help put food on the table. By the end of the afternoon, I had the boxes ready to ship. I wasn't looking to scam these people after all. They got to make their stupid videos, and I got to eat. Everybody was happy. I sold a few more over the next few weekends, but eventually, interest died down, and life went on. My brother sent me more stupid videos, and I gradually forgot about my time as a deep web merchant. Until last Friday. When I got home from work, there was a package waiting for me outside my apartment door. When I picked it up and examined it, I realized that it was one of my mystery boxes. It looked like I had an unhappy customer, but it wasn't like they were getting their money back. I took it inside and opened it up. It was empty, save for a flash drive that I didn't recognize. I was curious what was on it, but I wasn't about to let some disgruntled hacker infect my computer. So, I dug out an old laptop that I hardly used anymore and plugged it in. It was full of pictures. Pictures of my hometown, of my apartment, and of me. Whoever sent me this had been following me, had been inside my home. Staring at those pictures, I started to realize just how out of depth I was. You see, not everything you find in the deep web is fake. There are some people out there who do sell real mystery boxes, and they are tired of scammers like me taking away from their profits. Thankfully, they are very generous people and want to give me a second chance. So, I am pleased to announce that the Emporium of Mysteries is under new management. Now, for the same low price, you will receive a genuine mystery box. It will include a special tool for my new partner's personal collection, along with a video instructing you in its use, co-starring myself. The body part or organ extracted during the video will also be included as a special memento. Supplies are limited, so search us out on the deep web as soon as possible We look forward to your business. I got too comfortable on the dark web, a story that changed my life. Download the Tor browser and do as you please, which is what I did. I was with my friend at the time, and that's where you become reckless. We were up late that night, past midnight, and we were watching scary dark web experiences on YouTube. Little did we know, this led us to a horrific experience, one we would never forget. "Damn, this shit is creepy," Daniel said. "Well, you know what this means. We're gonna try it for ourselves," I stated. What a bad decision looking back. What a bad decision, indeed. I proceeded to download Tor. A 5-minute wait, and it was downloaded, and we were set to go. Instantly, I searched dark web red rooms, but nothing too bad came up. I continued to do this for the next few weeks. Nothing strange except gore and nude images, which was nothing compared to the terrors we heard about on YouTube. And so, I dug deeper and deeper into this hidden side of the internet. Each time I exceeded, I became more confident. Now moving on to the night of the incident. I was at a sleepover with my friend Daniel. Remember him from the start? And so, we searched dark web chat sites, and there we found it. Chat for free, online deep web chatting site. And so, I said, great, let's take a look at this then. Big mistake. Daniel was wary before we clicked on it, and I don't blame him now that I'm looking back. But I was overconfident. For the reason for me being like that was because during my time on the darker side of the internet, I didn't see anything bad. "Are you sure it's safe, Mike?" I replied with, "Yeah, totally. What's the worst that could happen?" And I clicked. Bang. I was hit with several pop-up ads instantly and my computer started running slow, but my computer was pretty old, so I thought, what was the worst that could happen? Once I had cleared of the stupid ads, I met a page saying, "Welcome to chat for free. Click start when you are ready." The loading circle on the screen lasted for quite a while until we met our first user. "You and Sam both like hockey," was written at the top. Our camera was on, but Sam's was not. All we could see was a blank screen, so we skipped off him. But you need to remember his username, SamTheMan666, and we'll get to that later. On our Chat for Free website, we met a couple of members, like usual, and a lot of blank screens. Our second time with SamTheMan666 concluded of an empty room. His camera was on, but no one was there. Then, in the chat box, it said, "Sam is typing." "Hey!" showed up in the chat box. "What do I say, Dan?" I exclaimed. Dan seemed to be shaking quite a bit. He seemed in no mood to answer my question. "Hi," I wrote, low-key hoping for no response. "Sam is typing" appeared once again. "Where do you live?" Sam wrote. That shook both of us, so I just clicked off the website and cleared all search history immediately. So then, we fell asleep. We both lingered awake for a while thinking about Sam and who he really was. But eventually, we both fell asleep, leaving the computer facing us, and that was a bad idea. 3:20 a.m. I woke up, and the computer was on with Chat for Free open, but the website screen seemed a bit darker and more unnerving. I immediately woke Daniel up. We were not frozen with fear. As I slowly get closer to the computer, I see that we're in a chat with SamTheMan666, but his facecam is, well, strange. His facecam is sitting in the chair, but it wasn't us. His cam showed both of us smiling, but I did not remember Dan smiling, nor me. A deep male voice spoke out our address. We were more paralyzed than ever, sitting and trembling in fear. I didn't have the power in me to do anything about it. It was like a nightmare, but sadly, it wasn't. On Sam's facecam showed a shadow of a man behind us. I'd have to say about 6 feet for sure, but I can't quite remember. As the man gradually came closer behind us in his facecam, a weapon became visible. As he got closer, he raised it. As me and Dan sat smiling still, that smile was like something I've never seen before. The man swung his weapon at my neck, chopping it away. It was absolutely horrific. I felt like throwing up. The adrenaline made me spring up and snap the computer in half. I was that adrenaline-filled that it broke like butter. My heart racing, I put my hand on my head in fear. Dan was pale white and still like a corpse. I proceeded to stomp on the computer until it was completely in bits, and I began crying. Do you blame me? Still to this day, I dread thinking about anything on the deep web, especially that incident. Just a reminder that this was 3 years ago, and me and Dan haven't spoken in about 6 months or so because of COVID, but we rarely talk about the incident anymore. I have no plausible explanation for what happened with the face cam and all that, but I like to forget about it now. Oh, and one more thing I have learned from this is never go on the dark web. You don't know who is watching you. Always enter the dark web at your own risk. There's always something that can get the jump on you. For example, I was browsing the dark web late at night when I came across this post for storytellers and heavy creepypasta readers. I like reading, so in my own curiosity I ventured forth into what seemed to be something I would rather enjoy. I was wrong. Dead wrong. The website contained a few boxes with descriptions in each and a list of stories written by others. The boxes had basic information regarding that the stories are for entertainment purposes only, and that they should regard as fiction. I scrolled through to find an intriguing title. When I found one called The Note, I began reading the creepypasta, and it didn't seem half bad. It began reading things like, there was a nightgown in the middle of the road, and I heard creaking. I found this especially strange because I had these exact same experiences in the same week. I thought nothing of it and kept reading. I began to feel uncomfortable as every event that happened in the story was basically ticking off the past 5 days of my life. I got to a point where it was talking about the day I was in, but what really got my attention was the line, I could see something outside. And at that moment, I heard branches cracking outside. I jolted my head to my window and quickly closed my curtains. I'm just paranoid, I kept telling myself. It's okay. I read further and the character in the story did the same thing. It's as if someone was replacing text as this was all happening. I read on. More sounds came from outside, until I heard knocking on my door. My eyes widened as I could see what was coming next. The loud knocks came for a few seconds, then stopped. At this point, I could care less about the website, so I turned off my computer and turned out the lights as I slid under my bed with my trusty baseball bat ready. I waited for what seemed like hours, but nothing came. Eventually, I drifted off to sleep as I had had a long day and was extremely tired. As I slowly came to, I saw my room was dimly lit from the little sunlight coming through the seams of the curtains. I crawled out from under the blankets, feeling awful and having very little memory of the night before. I went to make my cup of coffee and noticed nothing was out of place to where it normally is. I just had a nightmare, I thought to myself. I came back to my desk as I turned on the machine to find a Buddha message from what looked like a piece of paper. It had much resemblance for that of a note to self, and there was a great deal of text, so I began reading it cautiously, wondering, if this is important, why would I put this in a command prompt? I read through it, but shortly after beginning I noticed it was trying to tell me something. Remember, fight back. Don't let it take you too. Then it hit me. I began to remember what had happened. I quickly opened my curtains and made a thorough scan of my garden and front porch. There wasn't a soul in sight, so I continued reading, and it started to take shape of the creepypasta I had read that night before. I should recall every bit of text, but I saw a line of text that horrified me. He had what appeared to be a large butcher knife in his hand. I could not make out the figure, or what gender it was, but I knew one thing. If I move or make any sound, I'm dead. I could only imagine what happened after, as I ripped out the power cord and threw the cinder block outside. I ran through the entire house to make sure everything was locked tight. Not 5 minutes had passed and I put my shoes on to go destroy the devil of a machine. I ran outside right where I threw it to find nothing. It wasn't there. I was shocked. Caught up in the moment, I ran inside and called the police. They arrived and didn't find a single trace of anyone getting in. I told them how in just a few minutes in broad daylight, someone or something managed to grab my computer and take off with it, or worse. Once they left, I went to buy a new laptop and a firearm. I haven't seen anything suspicious, or heard anything, but I can never forget what happened that night. To think someone could be outside my window, staring at me intently. I haven't visited that godforsaken place since, and never will.